Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is a big day for me. I'm going to have my naturalization citizenship interview in about 3 hours or so. And the purpose of this video is for me to share the whole experience of how the interview process goes, but also hopefully I'll be able to provide you some useful tips and recommendations I might have throughout this experience. A little bit about my green card situations. I came to the US about 20 years ago. I received a professional bachelor degree in 2008, and I was sponsored by a couple of employers who were willing to give me my H-1B visas and also file the petition for my green card. So I did receive my EB2 green card about 6 years ago. And as you might know, after 5 years of having a valid EB green card, you're able to apply for your citizenship. So I did apply last year, but it was right when the whole pandemic, COVID-19 happened. So the whole process had been much slower. As you might know, typically from the time that you filed in your N400 to the time you get your interview date, it usually takes about 4 to 8 months in total. But in my case, it took about a year, which is a little bit longer, but I'm still glad that I still have the date, which is today. And yeah, I'm excited to share with you what the story is going to be, and I'll see you in a few hours. Alrighty, bye. Hey guys, I'm back. So I'm actually here by the USCIS office in Portland. I'm excited. I think I'm ready. So a couple of things, make sure you bring your mask. It's a federal mandate that you have to wear your mask to your interview. Also bring a black pen just in case that they ask you to sign some documents. Review through your notice, bring all the required documents. On the notice, it said that you won't not let you in if you show up more than 15 minutes prior to your interview. So make sure to time your commute appropriately. I think I've got about 10 minutes before my interview here, so I'm just gonna go in and wish me luck. And I'll talk to you right after I'm out of the process. Okay, bye.
A few moments later.
So I did pass the test. It went very smoothly. The officer was really nice. And they're gonna send me in the mail an appointment to the oath ceremony. Hi guys, so as I said, the interview went well. The total interview only took me about 15 minutes in total. I show up, as I said, 15 minutes before my interview, and I had to wait in line outside for about 10 minutes or so till someone call my name in. And then you have to put your stuff through kind of like a security detection system. And then after that, everyone, including me, had to go up to the second floor, and we waited in the waiting room for about another 10 minutes or so. So the officer called my name. We went into kind of like a separate room. She asked me to sanitize my hands. We sit down and, just start like a casual conversation, talking about weather and things like that. And I believe that's kind of like the way that USCIS try to test your English conversational skills, I guess. So after that, when we first started the interview, the officer asked me to raise my right hand and repeat after her saying that I swear that I'm going to tell the truth, the only truth, so help me God. So after that is the civic question test, and I was asked 6 questions, and actually I wrote them down here. The first one was, the idea of self-government is in the first 3 words of the Constitution. What are these words? You should know the answer by now. It should say, we the people. The second question is, what is an amendment? And my answer was, the amendment is the change to the Constitution. The third question was, how many voting members are there in the House of the Representatives? And the correct answer is 435. The fourth question I was asked was, name one reason why the colonists come to America. And my answer was freedom. Of course, as you know, there's a bunch of other options that you can choose from. And the last question is, who was the first president of the United States? And the answer, of course, is George Washington. So those were the 6 questions that I was asked. And after the civic questions is the reading and writing test. And there was a tablet, iPad right in front of me, and the officer kind of projected the sentence to me to read, and it's a pretty easy sentence. It said, who can vote? And after that, I used the actual iPad and then used my finger. I guess you do have an option of using like the iPad pen or something like that to write down your sentence. And the sentence the officer asked me to write was, citizens can vote. So make sure that you listen to the words carefully, because sometimes I know that people might write citizen can vote without the plural S. So make sure you hear them correctly. And if you not sure, you can ask the officer to repeat the sentence again. It actually doesn't hurt. So I wrote that, and then so I passed the civic, the speaking and writing test. And then after that, of course, we go over the N400 forms. So, she went through my names, my residence, my green card status and history, my work history, and, of course, going through the have you ever questions, and then do you support questions. The only thing that stood out for me was that she was asking me, how old I was when I first got my green card. So I didn't have that information ready, so I kind of have to calculate like, hey, I got this for 6 years and I'm currently this old, and I have to subtract that year. So that took me a little while to figure out how old I was when I got the green card. And the reason was that one of the questions in the form asking you whether you sign up for military service if you're a lawful resident between the age of 18 and 26. So I was around 30, 32, 30 plus then. So I said no on the form, but make sure that you answer that question correctly on your N400, because I know for some people you do have to prove that either you're enrolled in service during if you fall into that range of age while you're a green card holder, or you kind of have to show proof that why you didn't sign up. So that wasn't the case for me, so that was easy. And then I guess the next step is for USCIS to mail me the appointment, excuse me, so I can go to the oath ceremony where I can swear in and actually have my naturalization certificate. I guess the last part of my video here I like to share is the kind of tips and recommendation that I see after going through this interview process. So the first one was that make sure you read through your green card notice letter properly. Make sure that you first bring your mask. Don't show up too early. You can only show up 15 minutes before the interview so they can let you in. Of course, bring all the supporting documents for your case. For example, if you're marriage base type of green card, then you kind of have to bring all the paperwork relating to the marriage and such. For me, it's the EB2, so it's pretty simple. The officer actually didn't ask that many questions in regards to my employment much, so that's fine. And then the second tips I've got is, in my opinion, first impressions is really important. So be confident, you know. I know we always in different level of English skills, but you know, be yourself, be confident, but not arrogant. And also the way you dress is important too, because I actually just see someone wearing like a hoodie, you know, going to an interview, and I'm not sure how that interview went, but you know, if I'm in the officer's shoes, I think, you know, if you wear kind of like a business casual appearance outfit, I think you would leave a better impression, and the interview might go smoother. As I said, if you can't hear anything clearly, because the problem was there's a plexiglass, you know, between the officer and you, and they have to leave the door open, so there's not much of acoustic insulation. So sometimes actually I can't hear the question very clearly. So it doesn't hurt just to ask the officer to repeat his or her questions for you, so you understand them correctly, so you can provide the correct answers. Yeah, I mean, also treat the officer with respect. You know, they are full-time government employees, and they probably have to go through this like day in, day out. So treat them with respect, and they show the same respect to you. Last but not least is studying materials. I find YouTube, it's actually a great resource to study the questions and the vocabs and the writing and reading. There's a few channels that I personally really liked watching, like either like for a short drive from here to grocery store or something like that. I turn them on, and it's only like 10 minutes long. So I include the links to those channels below, so you can check them out. And if you do use Spotify, there is a Spotify podcast that you can check out, and they have mock interviews and, you know, updates and things like that, which I find super helpful. So anyway, I think I'm on a long rant here, but it should end now, because I'm gonna head home and maybe crank the beer open or something. So yeah, to all of you, good luck. I know you're gonna do great. Just be yourself, you know, be yourself, you know, be truthful and be yourself. So thank you for watching as always, and please follow me, subscribe to my channel. I have other content that you can check out. I do sketches, time-lapse, and you know, other random stuff that's showing my experience here in the US. So as always, thank you, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.